people are saying there might be a fight ahead within the Republican Party and between the Senate and the House. Joining us now, Republican Senator Mark Wayne Mullin. He's the liaison for the reconciliation bill between the Senate, the House, and the White House. I think of all the different dynamics, Senator, and it's good to have you on. You guys get 6 years. Those poor souls in the House, man. The minute they get in, election season starts for the next 2 years. And that's why it just seems so. Maybe our forefathers were smart. It's really hard to get anything done, isn't it?
Well, that's how our Federalist Papers are wrote. If you read them, they wanted Congress to work slow, so negotiations is part of it. I mean, we're going to bicker back and forth. Both chambers work differently. I have a love-hate relationship with the House because I absolutely loved my time in the House. But, man, it was so frustrating, too, because you're right, Joe. As soon as you finish winning your election, you start running again. So it's kind of always on your mind, especially when you're negotiating one big, beautiful bill that isn't going to be perfect, but it's going to be good.
Exactly. I don't know how many times I've used that expression, the good for the don't sacrifice it, trying to be perfect. But what are your colleagues, the ones that will be in the decision-making process on this? And is it going to be fast? Is it going to be July when it happens? And what are the people that you respect there? It's not everyone's like Rand Paul, I don't think, but there's people like Ron Johnson and others. How much are they going to ask for in terms of additional cuts?
Well, all of us are going to shoot for the moon, right? We want the bill to be as good as possible. But truth is, we've been negotiating this since November. At the end of the day, everybody's idea is going to be considered, but it's your idea. So since it's your idea, as every member knows, it's your job to get the votes for it. So Ron John or Rand Paul or Mike Lee or Lindsey Graham or whoever else you want to put out there, their deal is they have to find 51 votes for their idea. If not, then we've got to move on. So everybody's going to have their fingerprints on it. Everybody's going to be working together. There's just two hard stops that we really can't mess with, and that we can't go below $1.6 trillion in cuts. In fact, Leader Thune says he wants to actually do better than $1.6 trillion. So that's actually more deficit spending cuts than what the House did. And we can't really touch SALT, even though in the Senate, we really don't have any SALT members in the Senate on the Republican side. But we also know that's very important to the majority makers in the House. And that was a sticking point, hard point to get over. Other than that, we're going to, as I say, we're not going to tear down the frame of the House bill. We're going to maybe repaint the interior walls and redecorate a few rooms. But overall, the bill and the structure of the bill is going to stay intact. We're just negotiating with them right now. In fact, I was just texting Speaker Johnson before we went on the air here.
In terms of that, you mean you're basically going to do what they want, which is to not touch it significantly enough that it has to go back through a vote in the House?
No, it'll have to go back for a vote because we're going to leave the frame of it together, but we're going to have to. I mean, if we change the bill at all, it's got to go back for a vote. So we're going to amend the bill. We're just going to take our amendments and put on top of it. There was some talk about some people in the Senate that literally wanted to shelf their bill and try to rewrite a different bill. There's no way to do that by July 4th. Leader Thune has made it very clear we want to have this done by July 4th. We will deliver for what he wants to get done. There's going to be a lot of negotiations. I was on the phone with the president this weekend about making sure we're in lockstep with the White House and with the House and with the Senate. But we're going to have to do some amendments. There are some things in this that aren't going to make the bird rule, as I like to say, the bird bath, because it's going through the scrubbing right now. Once it gets done with the bird bath, then it's going to look different anyways. And then we've got to put our own personal touch on it. Every senator, just like every House member, has ideas.
Where's it going to be? Does the Senate want to actually deal more with the abuses that are with the way Medicaid is set up right now? And is that where the problem is in the House? You've got some members that are worried they might be in more blue areas where the president didn't do quite as well. Will they not be on board with some actual real reform of Medicaid if you do that? Is that where you'd lose them?
No, I mean, you have Susan Collins, who's in a very, very unique situation in Maine. I say this all the time. She's the only Republican that can carry Maine. I mean, she doesn't vote with us all the time, but she votes with us a heck of a lot more than if we had a Democrat senator up there. And so we've got to give her a little bit of leeway. We have Lisa that's got a little bit of leeway that she's got to work with. Dan Sullivan, Medicaid is a huge issue in Alaska. Josh Hawley in Missouri has made this very clear about him with Medicaid. So
you got the same problems. You got the same problems, and then you go back to the House where you got this. But then we got guys like, Chip Roy on the other side. It's tough to watch. And Senator Ron John is a surf shop, so I don't think you can use that for Ron Johnson. But
right, but Medicaid though, there's a lot of confusion that the Democrats have lied about. They went out there, Joe, and said that we're cutting Medicaid benefits. We're not cutting Medicaid benefits.
No one believes that.
Senator,
no one serious believes that.
Senator, how much do you focus on what might be described as the bond vigilantes? This idea that the bond market is a little nervous, maybe a lot nervous, about what this bill may do to the long-run fiscal situation and economic situation in the country longer term.
Well, speculation is what always drives the market. We know this. And in fact, I think the bond market is going to respond well once this bill is passed because it brings certainty, right? It brings certainty to the tax code. It's going to bring certainty that we're going to be getting our physical house in order. It brings certainty to some regulatory environments. It understands that we're getting away from the from the big government, less business-friendly environment of the Biden administration and moving to the Trump-era administration where it says, hey, United States is open for business again, and we want your business to come back on shore.
But it's not balancing the budget. It's continuing to push out.
If the bond market didn't go to 8% on Biden, it's not going to go up on this, Andrew. No one's freaking out. It's 10 basis points you're talking about as a freak out. That's not a freak out. Go ahead, Senator.
I don't think.
IMHO.
I don't really think that that what we're going to do here in today's bill is going to balance the budget, but it will tomorrow's bill, meaning that because we're cutting deficit spending, we're going to bring surety back to the market. We already see numbers to the economy extremely impressive. We see inflation down. We're going to see our GDP continue to grow. And eventually, as you guys know, these charts, as we continue to cut, because we'll cut more through discretionary spending too. And so we got, we got mandatory spending cuts. We got discretionary spending cuts that's going to go in. We're going to have GDP growth. And I honestly do feel like we're going to be able to balance a budget for the first time since Clinton was in office. And I think we can do it in about a year and a half.